Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. This is Decagon Maths and welcome to another lesson on complex numbers. In today's lesson, we'll be talking about complex numbers and it is an introduction to complex number part 2. I have made a video on part 1. We want to learn how to evaluate powers of I, and I believe we already know what I stands for. I've defined that in the part 1 of this video, but I will still give it to us again. We are going to make use of factorized index method. The method of breakdown is commonly used in books, but I gave the method this name just for the sake of proper reference. So it is being given for the sake of proper reference. Alright. Before we start with examples, let us define I. We said that I equals to the square root of minus 1, and this implies that I square is minus 1. Now let's look into some examples. The first power of I we are going to look at is I raised power 1. So we know that, let me rewrite this. We have I raised power 1. I raised power 1 will still be 1, will still be I. And then let's move on to the second example, which is I raised power 2. I raised power 2 has been defined as minus 1. And number 3, we can have I raised to the power of 4. At this point, the purpose of the name I assigned to this method becomes relevant and obvious. We already know what I raised power 2 is. What we need to do is to always express the power given as a power of 2 or multiple of 2 to see. I raised power 4 can be written as I squared then raised to the power of 2. That is 2 times 2 gives 4. So I raised power 2, we know it is minus 1, and that is minus 1 all raised power of 2, which is 1. And let's move on to number 4. So we have I raised to the power of 4. So I raised to the power of 5 can be written as I squared then raised to the power 2. 2 times 2 gives 4, so we just need one more I. That is I. And I raised to the power 2, raised to the power 2 has been calculated to be 1. 1 multiplied by I, then which gives I. That implies that I raised to the power 5 is high. Okay, the next example, which is I raised to the power 40. I raised to the power 40, all we need to do is factorize out the power of 2. We have I raised to the power 2, then raised to the power of 20, which is 40. So it is now obvious that we are factorizing out 2 in the powers of I given. We now have I raised to the power 2 is minus 1 and then raised to the power 20. So we know that negative raised to the power of odd will be negative, while negative raised to the power even will be positive. So minus 1 raised to the power 20, it is positive 1. We are done with this example. Now let's move on to advanced examples. This is number 5 and this next one will be number 6. Let's evaluate I plus I square plus I raised to the power 3 plus I raised to the power 4. What we do here is to add all of this. We know that I is just I, and I raised to the power 2 is minus 1, while I raised to the power 3 is I didn't calculate I raised to the power 3, so let's do for I raised to the power 3. I raised to the power 3 is I raised to the power 2 multiplied by I minus 1 multiplied by I, and which is minus I. That was very fast. So I raised to the power 3 is minus I, and plus I raised to the power 4, which is 1. So we have I plus times negative is minus 1, plus times negative again is minus I, then we have plus 1. So we have I minus I, and that cancels out, and we are left with minus 1 plus 1 also cancels out, which gives answer to be 0. So it is as simple as that. Now let's quickly have a recap on how to evaluate the powers of I. All we need to do is express it as a product of 2 and an integer. For example, if we have I raised to the power of 10, what we do is express 10 as product of 2 and 5, and this gives us minus 1 raised to the power of 5. 5 is an odd number, which gives us a negative 1. This is actually simple because 2 is a factor of 10, or we say that 10 is a multiple of 2. Now let's look at this. We have I raised to power 13. 13 is an odd number, so what we need to do is to find a multiple of 2 that is the closest to 13 in coming in ascending order. So now 12 is the closest, so and 12 can be expressed as product of 2 and 6, and then the remainder. So the remainder is then taken as another power of I and multiplies whatever our result is. So if the remainder was 2, we are going to write I raised to power 2, but the remainder will always be 1 because we are dividing by 2. So I raised to power 2 is minus 1. So our result is I. I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for staying through. If you like what you have seen, please subscribe to my channel, like and comment. Please, your comment is very important. Yeah. So see you next time. Goodbye.